And my other daughter says she just can't, I absolutely can't be there when they lose house. It's going to be too late. It's one Saturday.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to councillors, officers, and those residents present with us this evening, and to all those who are watching us online. Today is the 15th of November, and I also 15th of October even, and I declare this full meeting of Weymouth Town Council open. If we take the first agenda item, which is apologies, we've received apologies from Councillor Harris, Councillor Civil, and Councillor Jill Taylor. Are there any others? Well then, in line with our normal procedure, I'd like to propose that we accept these apologies and ask the Deputy Chair, he will second. All those in favour, please. Thank you. We now come to item 3, the declarations of interest. This is to receive any declarations of interest. We've had no pre-notified declarations. Are there any to be given from the floor today? Councillor Hope.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd like to declare an interest in item number 12, which is the notice of motion for events, fees and charges. And that's a non-pecuniary interest as a member and trustee of Weymouth Port and Lions Club who hire the land of the Weymouth Town Council.
Thank you. Is everybody happy if we note that? Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Weller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 13, I'm DC appointed trustee in Weymouth Museum.
Anybody else? Councillor Hope.
Yeah, thank you very much. I should also do item 13 and has also council's customer culture and community engagement portfolio holder. So being liaising with Weymouth Museum on lots of matters.
Thank you. Right, we now come to item 4, the minutes of the last meeting. And the officer's recommendation is that you members approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of September as a true and accurate record and agree that they should be signed as such. I'd like to propose that and ask the Deputy Chair to second. All those in favour, please. Councillors' questions. We have received a question. We have received a question from Councillor Orrell. Although this was received after the deadline for receipts and questions, I'm happy for Councillor Orrell to proceed with his question, but would remind councillors please to try and adhere to the timetable to help the officers. So, Councillor Orrell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your indulgence. It's about the trees. It's 6 months since the decisions were made, so we're allowed to reconsider. Again, the tree planters on the pond were built without foundations, and despite this, the extrusion is relatively minor. I've had a look. The repairs to the plant are damaged by a coach with modest new foundations show it can be done at relatively low cost. At some point in the medium term, in the next 10 years, the Environment Agency will no longer rely on sand to stop sea surges, but instead be doing hard engineering, which will involve rebuilding and strengthening all the planters. So someone else will be paying for it. So in the meantime, can we preserve the existing palms in situ, put in 2 new canary palms by the statue, and additionally put in cabbage palms in all the beds from the statue to St John's Church, where they are lacking, because trees are quite good for shade. They look good and they take in carbon, so they win on all counts. So can we do that? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask Town Clerk to respond?
Due to the obviously late question coming in, there isn't an official response. However, officers have been working on the option that would enable all 9 trees to stay in place, and this is being brought to the Environment Services Committee on the 29th of October. there'll be an opportunity to discuss any future options at the environment service with you there.
I will now come to the town mayor's announcements. I'm pleased to report that since the last meeting, I have attended the following events: the unveiling of the plaque on the wall just outside our offices here, commemorating the World War II service of the Remy servicemen at the Remy Wading Workshop, which was sited next door to our offices here. I presented prizes at the Vehicle Preservation Society and attended the memorial service for the Battle of Britain, and the 125th anniversary and festival prize giving at the Weymouth Angling Club. I opened the sales suites at Brewery Square, and it's good to see that at long last something is happening down there. And I attended the opening of the Starfish Enterprise co-working and business hub in King Street. And I welcome the replica pirate ship Victoria into Weymouth for Pirates Weekend. I attended the opening of the new Primark store and attended Weymouth Beach Motocross. I'm not sure which one was the noisiest. Earlier today, I attended the Anti-Slavery Day commemorations by the Thomas Fowell Buxton Society, and I'd like to thank Councillor Taylor for attending the ASC Cadets Awards giving in my absence. Yesterday, I met with Paul Bird, our Green Spaces manager here at Weymouth Town Council, and 3 of his gardening team to select a charity to have its logo set in flowers in Greenhill Gardens next year. I'm delighted to announce that a Dorset charity, the Lexi May Trust, was unanimously selected. The charity was set up by the family of Lexi, who sadly passed away with a brain tumour in 2016 at the age of 8. They support children with terminal illness and life-limiting conditions throughout Dorset by the provision of memorable, fun and special days out. May I conclude by highlighting to councillors and residents the People's Choice Awards. We congratulated in my last announcements, full council, all the Parks and Gardens team that have been awarded 3 green flags. All parks and gardens that were awarded a green flag during 2025 are now eligible for this award. It would be marvellous if Weymouth could feature in the top 10 in the country in this award, so I would urge you to spend a few moments to cast your vote for each of our green flag gardens, the Radipole, Sandsford and Greenhill. And in addition, please forward this to on your social media to all your contacts, urging them to vote. It would be wonderful to have Weymouth up there on the list. And the link can be found on the Weymouth Council's website. Please vote for all 3. Thank you. Right, we turn now to the updates from Dorset councillors. Any Dorset councillor wish to give us an update? Councillor O'Leary.
Yes, you may have seen on social media and reported in the Echo about the awarding of £20 million towards, it was originally the Liverpool area, but now I'm told it's the Liverpool Broadway area. We have finally received some clarification further on this. We are awaiting actually a map of the area, which is something I thought would have been coming first, but we will, myself and the other board members for Liverpool and Broadway, will keep, I'm sure, this council updated as time goes on with that.
I can provide you with that.
Anybody, any other? Councillor Oral?
Just reiterating what you may already know, that the Dorset plan and the Liberal Transport plan consultation has been extended. You can't use the official survey, but you can go by email. So if you go in on the website, you can find out how to respond. There's quite a lot that concerns Weymouth, so it is worth everyone responding to those 2.
Anybody else? We'll move on to agenda item 8, which is public questions. No public questions have been received. Item 9, petition for Weymouth seafront palm trees. A petition is, I believe, going to be presented now concerning the preservation of the canary farms on Weymouth seafront. And I believe, Penny, you'd like to come and speak to us on that. Thank you.
Good evening and thank you for letting me speak this evening. So I'm Penny, I'm known to you all, and I'm a trustee of Weymouth Climate Hub, who have supported the petition that I'm going to present. I'd just like to briefly remind you of the background, which has been alluded to already, but I'm going to do so again. So an option to retain the canary palm trees was not offered to the Environment and Services Committee when a decision to remove some of them was taken in March this year. There was a considerable public outcry at the time, and myself and several others came and represented our distress in this chamber at the time. Many other people were also distressed and angry to think that we might be losing much loved, healthy local trees that had become synonymous with Weymouth seafront. And this petition was one of the outcomes. The petition now has over 1,000 signatories and reads as follows. We request that fully costed repair options that aim to retain all 9 canary palm trees on the seafront are considered by councillors before any canary palms are removed and replaced with cabbage palms. During our campaigning, it was interesting to learn from a person involved with the planting of the trees that the palms were intended to provide an elegant tree line as a permanent legacy to the town following the 2012 Olympics. I mention this because it has been indicated that the palms were only ever intended to be temporary. I'm sure that there are council records that will corroborate this information or not. I would also like to acknowledge that there has been working going on behind the scenes, and we're grateful for that. And we hope that the council will be able to find a positive solution for the trees. Campaigners and the public, which includes businesses, residents and visitors both from here and from overseas, would welcome news that keeping the palms is still a possibility. I'd like to now approach the Mayor, if I may, with our paper petition, which has 730 signatures, and the online signatures at midday on the online petition were at 383. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll put a nice red button.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I acknowledge receipt of this. Thank you. I would just remind everybody, this is not an opportunity to debate this. I'm going to hand over to the Assistant Town Clerk for her response.
So this is similar to the response I gave to Councillor Orwell earlier this evening. Officers have been working on a new option that will enable all 9 trees to stay in place in their existing locations, and this will be brought to the Environment and Services Committee on 29th of October for councillors to consider and decide if they want to stick with the original resolution or change to the new option that will be presented.
So the recommendation of the officers is that full council agrees to refer the petition to the Environment and Services Committee for a response. And also please note that it is already on the forward plan. So could I have a proposer, please? Seconded by Councillor Orwell. All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Right, we now come to agenda item 10. The Weymouth Neighbourhood Plan. Could I ask the Deputy Clerk to speak on this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll just give a very brief introduction to this, and then there'll be others a bit more knowledgeable who will be able to provide some more information. Members will be aware that the neighbourhood plan was submitted to the examiner, and he's come back with 48 recommendations, which allow the neighbourhood plan, when implemented, will make it compliant with planning legislation. So the report here today is not asking for a debate on the neighbourhood plan, which has previously been agreed. Is to ask that all council approve the examiner's 48 recommendations and that these get incorporated to the neighbourhood plan and submitted to Dorset Council. So they're a referendum green plan.
Thank you. Councillor Northam.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ian. The Weymouth neighbourhood plan has been a hard slog, and this is nearly at the end of that process from a resident and councillor's point of view. In that after blinking at me again. In that the next step, when the council, should the council approve this tonight, is that it goes forward to the referendum. We submitted the draft document and published it a week ago. Since then, we've had some comments back from Dorset Council, where they've commented against the implementation that we made following through the recommendations of the examiner, and they've pointed out some 16 minor corrections. So I'll just give you some examples. In the list of policies, we added one new policy and we numbered it W00. In the list of policies at the front, it doesn't include it, so let's put that in. We missed out the word proposals in one place after the word development. Paragraph 8.69, we deleted more than we should have. Map 272 still shows South Hill Gardens, and so on. These are minor changes to the document, and in one case we have two clauses numbered one, which is not a good thing. So it's minor changes, and what I'd like to point out to everyone is that the examiner's report, which has been published now, states that the plan will make a positive contribution to the development plan for the area and should enable the attractive character and appearance of Weymouth to be maintained whilst enabling sustainable development to proceed. And the bit in the report that I'd like to emphasise is that we were very pleased that the examiner chose to agree with the submissions that were made by residents for 49 local green spaces across Weymouth. He didn't reject a single one of those submissions that were made. That's a significant level of protection to valued local green spaces. And beyond that, in the plan, there are 5 coastal green recreation areas which are similarly protected, and 4 incidental open spaces. The largest area is in Littlemore, and there's also on the Downpost estate, Lanehouse Rocks and Corfe Road estate, Corfe Manor estate. 6 green gaps were also identified, which stops urban sprawl joining our distinct communities up and provides a level of protection against future development. We've been talking with residents about the local plan, and there's been quite a lot of confusion about where the neighbourhood plan and the local plan sit. And the main point is that currently we have an out-of-date local plan, West Dorset, Weymouth and Portland, produced in 2015. That's out of date and therefore subject to challenge. This new neighbourhood plan will sit alongside that and take precedent if there's any conflict between the two as the more recent plan. Pause for breath. The Dorset local plan is at least 2 years away from being made. The current plan shows December 2027 as being the earliest date that it will be made. And when it is made, if that plan, will now sit alongside the Weymouth neighbourhood plan, it sets strategic policies. But where those strategic policies overlap with Weymouth neighbourhood policies, if there's conflict between the two, it will have priority. Those 49 local green spaces that I mentioned, the local plan doesn't allocate any local green spaces. That's something that is peculiar and a very strong feature of neighbourhood plans. So I'd like to breathe a sigh of relief, recommend that we do go forward with this, but because of the way the recommendations are written, I'd like to suggest one amendment, which is we have an amendment that says, number 4, this group delegates any final minor corrections arising from Dorset Council's document check to be incorporated by Weymouth Town Council officers and signed off by the town clerk.
Thank you.
So do I need a seconder for that?
Can I just say that this is not an opportunity to debate today, so we will go straight into the vote on this. I would add that we have checked and that those of you who are double hatters can vote, as this is not going to go to Dorset Council for any further votes. So there's no worry with that.
Put that point, actually, I think,
Yeah.
Chair, I think the recommendation as written can probably be debated about councillors, but it's just, I think, a recognition that the original neighbourhood isn't open for debate against just these, the 48 amendments, which members may wish to just discuss.
Does anybody wish to discuss those?
Could I have clarity whether you accepted my amendment or whether that requires? It's not an amendment, okay, so
There's no proposal yet. It's happening for fourth recommendation.
So can I have two of the council law you would like to propose? So I'd like to go ahead now with this.
Thank you, I'd love to propose this, thank you. With the addition as being written up on the screen.
Item
Thank
number
you.
4 come
Yeah.
up on the screen.
It will shortly.
So I think you don't need me to read them all out again. So it'll be items 1, recommendations that full council approve the 4 items on the screen. So proposer, David, councillor Northern, seconder, councillor Atkinson. Can I have all those votes in favour, please? Votes against? 6. Any abstentions?
Doesn't quite add up, Chair, it's carrying.
16. We've got 22 people, 22 councillors present.
So that is carried. Thank you. Right, we now come to the external auditor's report, and I will ask the deputy town clerk to lead on this, please.
Thank you, Chair. This should be relatively straightforward in so much as we've received the external auditor's report back following the external audit of the 2024-25 AGAR. Pleased to report that they haven't made any recommendations and we have a clean external audit report for this year, or the year just gone. It's a bit of a quirk with town and parish codes of practice that we still need to formally propose and second if we note the external auditors.
So the rep officer's recommendation is that members are asked to note the clear audit report received from the BDO, which contains no recommendations for actions needed. So could I have a proposal, please? Sorry, voice.
There we go.
Just checking up on to speak on this one. Okay, so can I just congratulate the town clerk for everyone for being beloved here, having spent far too much time in audit of late. It's nice to see someone's actually got a real handle on everything.
Thank you. So, proposer, please, for it. And a seconder, councillor Weller. Thank you. All those in favour? May I also add my congratulations, not only to the deputy town clerk, but to all the officers that I didn't realise until I was told earlier this week just how many of them were involved in getting this through, this external audit, this clean report. So they're all to be congratulated. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we now come to the notice of the motion, re events, fees and charges. Can I ask the town clerk please to introduce this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My apologies for my lateness. An accident on the A35 has caused a little bit of problems tonight. Probably nothing really to say from myself, Chair, other than the notice of motion was duly and correctly received, and that is the reason why it is on the agenda in front of you. And it was duly received from Councillor Reinhold, and the seconders are listed within the body of the report.
Councillor Hope, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. As I alluded to earlier on during the declarations of interest, I am a local event organiser for charity organisations and have been doing that for nearly 20 years through different roles and activities, from Weymouth Carnival to Weymouth Beach Motocross and Harbour Swim. And I know firsthand how this notice of motion will support our community and voluntary sector here in Weymouth and Portland. And you will recall that during the Ironman debate that I gave notice I would be making this notice of motion, whilst the town council gave preferential treatment to Ironman, and as I said at the time before, it's a great event and it does do a lot for the town, but we need to look after our small organisations here in Weymouth that deliver events all year round. And we need to encourage more organisations to deliver events, especially in the shoulder months. So that's why I'm proposing this motion this evening, to remove fees and charges, to remove a blockade from our charities and voluntary sectors, and to try and encourage them to put more events in the shoulder months to support our town economy and their charity objectives. I'm not going to read the motion in full. You have copies of the motion submitted in the agenda, but you'll see here, I think it's key to recognise that this motion, if it goes through this evening, will only result in £1,500 loss of income for the town council. I don't think that's a lot of money to pay for potentially increasing events in the town, increasing footfall through the town, helping to support the economy. It was witnessed this weekend that during the motocross, and I'm sure Primark also had something to do with it, the town was heaving in October, the shoulder months, which is normally quiet. So I really urge members of the chamber to support this, support our charities, support our event organisers, and let's try and encourage more events in the town and for many years to come.
Councillor West.
Very much, Madam. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much, Councillor Hope. I'm delighted to support this. It's not just our local economy, but it's the fact that these are free events that can be enjoyed by everyone. So there's a huge social benefit as well as the economic benefit to our town. And that's exactly what we're here for, to make the feeling of well-being and pride in the place that they live so much greater for our residents.
Councillor Howe.
I support this, but I would like the word local involved. It says in the background proposal, it's local community groups, but the actual proposal doesn't use the word local. So is local appropriate? And secondly, can we define local? Is that Weymouth or Dorset?
Mike.
Everybody sign.
It's up to councillors to debate which which motion they wish to put forward, and if that is a point that councillors wish to debate and propose, or councillor Hope wishes to comment on, then it's a decision for the councillors.
Councillor Clifford.
I think it's sort of self-regulating in that you're not going to come in just because it's free to use the beach. You're not going to come here just because it's free to use the beach all of a sudden. That's better. Try that again. I think it'll self-regulate. I don't think we need to define local because then you'll just get to a pickle over. Goodness.
Just keep talking.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Right. I don't think we need to get into debate about the word local.
Just carry on.
Please, somebody carry on.
I'm not really sure. I don't think we need to worry about the word local. We'll just get a pickle about how you define it.
Yeah, that
Right,
momentum, keep going.
We, shall we could have a.
Doesn't matter.
I shall try to talk up.
Yeah.
So, let's not worry about the word local. It's, in the end, we're talking about £1,500 loss of income to the council, which is one way of looking at it, or £1,500 that local charities of any sort are not having to pay out in this time, and as someone who sits on a number of charities, every penny counts. I've already had to take difficult decisions over one of my charities, the level of work that we can do, which restricts the amount of good outcomes that come from it because of very small amounts of money. So I'm wholeheartedly behind this. I think it's really sensible. I wouldn't want us to get trapped in a doom loop about the word local in there somehow.
Anybody else have any comments? Anybody else have any comments? Councillor Fuller.
I didn't really want to prolong this because I am in favour, but I think local is important. And I take councillor Clifford's point that people aren't going to surge to run their events here because we're free. But there will be some opportunists who will think, you know, we'll go there because it's free. So how we define or what we think, but I think the word local is probably important because it is local people and local society that we're supporting here. If local can be inserted somewhere, I'd be very pleased to see it there, but I'm certainly not going to die in a ditch over it otherwise because I am the support.
Councillor Hone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Just to clarify, the word local is only currently in the background paper based on the information that's in the existing policy. The resolution is for all charities and not-for-profit organisations. There are many national charities that have local branches associated to them that operate in the Weymouth area. Another one would be, for example, someone like Wellmar, who obviously aren't local because they're not in the parish. However, they look after residents from the parish. So I wouldn't want to start defining local, and I wouldn't support an amendment to the motion.
Councillor Weller.
Absolutely take your point, and as I say, I wouldn't vote against it for that reason. And Wellmar, Samaritans, all those people are offering services to our local people, and that's the point, that it has an effect upon the lives of our local people. There will be some things, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there will be something that we don't, but we can be discretionary about that, can't we?
Councillor Hone.
Yeah, sorry, Chair, I forgot during my introduction to confirm the fact that I will be proposing this motion.
Councillor Seven. Second. Yeah. What's the second? So. Does it?
Move to the vote.
What about an amendment? Are we going to? Right, so we're going straight to the vote now. So all those in favour as shown up here, thank you. That is carried. Item 13 is the silver funding request. Can I ask the town clerk to introduce this, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, the members will have had the documentation, including the full SIL funding form, and unfortunately, Councillor Sybil isn't with us tonight. But I'm aware that there are other councillors within the room with some expertise around the Weymouth Museum work and their future plans. So the report in front of you is to request £30,000 of SIL funding to be allocated to the Weymouth Museum project, as is fully detailed in the form. That £30,000 will in turn leverage in £300,000 of SIL funding from Dorset Council, and both of those amounts will be used as the match funding portion for a very large heritage lottery fund bid of somewhere between £2.4 and £2.6 million. So for that initial input from the Town Council of 30,000, it could see very nearly £3 million brought into a significant local development of the museum at Brewers Quay, which will help ensure the longevity and the ongoing work of the museum itself. Thank you, Chair. Happy to respond to any questions, but I am aware that there are we have a trustee with us here tonight, and that other local members have also been consulted and may wish to have some input. Thank you.
Anybody like to comment? Councillor Morgan.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, whilst 30,000 may sound like a lot of money, when you consider how the multiplications go up with 300,000 from Dorset Council, leveraging in a heritage lottery fund over 2 million, this is a small amount of money to pay for a huge amount of benefit. So I'm very supportive of this. Thank you.
I agree, it's a small amount of money, but I will support the motion, but I do find it a bit odd that we're being asked to put £30,000 of tax into a pot and no one can tell me what we're going to use it for, other than it will gain 300,000 from Dorset. And nobody can tell me what we're going to use that for, but we'll get 3 million in the end. So at some stage, it would be nice to have a briefing for the council on what we see the final vision of the museum looking like. I've seen the background papers, I've seen what the surveys predict, but it'd be nice to actually have an idea of what the money will go towards and how we'll spend it.
Councillor Wemmer.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. The developer at Brewers Quay is required to present the space to us to a certain standard. The museum trust itself then has to do all of the rest of the fit out, all of the marketing, the continue with its conservation work and get it all presented so that the museum is as good as it possibly can be. We will be working towards a new accreditation. All of that is hugely expensive, and that's what that money is allocated for. We're negotiating all the time with Dorset Council, with the developer, for as high a standard as possible at the handover to the Museum Trust. But you can imagine that that's a game puzzle. And we have been advised by the Heritage Lottery Fund that this is the amount that we should be applying for. We are using external consultants, or Dorset Council, who own the collection, are using external consultants skilled in assessing how much money is needed to build a museum effectively. This is how much money we need. I know that the trustees would be delighted to come and do a briefing at some time in future, should councillors want that. And as things progress, obviously, be very happy to show you around the building and show you the plans of what we have in mind. Very happy to take you up at any time, anyone who would be interested in going up to our storage space and seeing the conservation work that's already going on with the huge collection that we have. I'm speaking personally now without the approval of my chairman, but I know that our conservators would be very happy if people are interested in knowing the work that's going on. Be very happy to talk to them about that. I hope that helps you.
Councillor.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'm very pleased to support this motion this evening. Second motion, that I think this is what exactly this town council should be doing, supporting our community. You know, sorry, Ian, we've done boring bits tonight, we signed it off the audit report. But this is what the town council should be doing, we should be hands-on, supporting our community and delivering in our community. £30,000 plus the £300,000 that we've put in through Dorset Council to get us over the line at long last with this museum after a long campaign that the volunteers have put in, is a very small amount to pay. And I think it's really important that we do cross that line soon, because it's going to cost Dorset Council and us as Dorset Council ratepayers more in the long run for the continuation of the storage. The funds are running out. The museum are having to put extra costs into pop-up shops to keep the museum's legacy alive and volunteers active. And there's a risk that if we don't get this project over the line soon, those volunteers will disappear because there's been such a break from them doing their activities. So I completely support the notice of motion and hope this council does vote to do the £30,000 so that it can go along with the Dorset Council seal funding of £300,000 that we've signed off, and then get the lottery funding that's needed at long last to get the project over the line.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Weller.
I do apologise for coming back on this. Just a couple of points to make. Echo Report recently, front page announced that the museum would be back next year. And I think that, sorry, you're mouthing something to me, and I'm
Not to you, councillor Weller, no.
right, okay. Just to say, and I'd like members of the public to know, we don't anticipate being in the new museum next year. The building will not be ready for that, I'm afraid. But I want to say that that won't be because of something that people in Weymouth have failed to do. That was just a rather overzealous reporter who picked up the information a little bit too quickly. The development is going ahead splendidly, and a number of the apartments will be released, but the museum will not be ready next year. We're very, very hopeful that it will be ready the year after. It's much better that we do it properly than we do it quickly. And Councillor Hope mentioned our volunteers and the various things that are going on to keep the profile of the museum up there. So we do have the pop-up shop. Those exhibits are being changed on a regular basis so that you can see the collection, scene collection all the time. And we run, forgive me for taking this opportunity for a plug, we run tea and talks with experts speaking on local issues on a regular basis. Do look on our website and our Facebook page for those. We had Dr. Alan Chedsoy speaking earlier in the week on King George III, on whom he's an expert. He's not quite a contemporary, but getting that way. Well worth coming along if you're free on a Monday afternoon. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak before we go to the vote? Could I have a proposer, please?
Oh, I can't come in, so I have to
Proposer? Councillor Atkinson, opposed, seconder? Councillor O'Leary, yeah, sorry. Councillor Williams. All those in favour? Item 14, the seal of the lease. Could I ask the assistant town clerk to introduce this, please?
Thank you, Chair. Earlier this year, the Finance and Governance Committee agreed to undertake a tender process for the beach operations building, which is situated on Weymouth Beach. Following the tender process, we have now had a successful bidder, and that's Life Saving Club, the local Surf Life Saving Club. And based on that, with this evening, as per the confidential appendix, I'd like to seal the lease.
Everybody happy to go straight to the vote on this? Anybody want to speak? Then could I ask for a proposer then, please? Councillor O'Leary, seconder, Councillor Bell. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 15, the information items. We've had information items which I'm sure you'll all have read from the Armed Forces Liaison Councillor, actions from previous meetings and the Weymouth Town Council forward plan. So please can we note these, note that we have, please can we note that we've noted these items, thank you. Sorry, councillor Hogan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Can I just ask a question? One of the last, actions from the last meeting, 31st of the 7th, 24, is that a typo? Or has that action been outstanding for that long?
That, probably should be, the group has met, so that should probably be, that's fine.
Thank you. So that comes to the closing of the meeting, but I would please remind you to vote for our green spaces, our lovely park, before you go home. And with that, I call the meeting closed.